used to this one. I'm not used to this one. Praise the Lord. On behalf of the Archbishop of Salem Family Worldwide, Dr. Sam Amaga, the founding patriarch of Salem International Christian Center and Foundation Faith Church, on behalf of the leadership of this church, I want to welcome each and every one of you to the 5th edition of our flagship business empowerment program, simply called Exploit. I represent the leadership of Lagos and Africa Missions, who have put together this program in the last 6 years. This actually ought to have been our 6th edition, but for the interruption of COVID-19. We're delighted to have you this morning at this annual business conference. Exploit program is one of the platforms that we established to bring spirituality and entrepreneurship to be on the same table. Here, we are naturally meant to prepare you for heaven. Jesus Christ said, He is coming soon. But He also said, occupy until I come. So He does not expect us to be idle. He expects us to take our place. He made everything available. The gold, the silver, the platinum, everything that you can think of. He had made them available for us so we can live a good life, drive purpose. But we find out that in the church, having been made to separate the church from the state, we are also trying to separate the church from business. And if we are not careful, the church would have been boxed into a corner where we don't get involved in any other thing except to pray, to preach, and to prepare people for heaven. That is an error, and in Salem, we are determined to make sure that that is corrected. In the first edition, our Father in the Lord had indicated and told us of the purpose and the driving force for Salem. God told him, raise me an army, a people strong in faith, a people strong in wisdom, intimate with the Holy Spirit, doing exploits in life and for God. And so 6 years ago, we birthed the dream of the wealth creation department of this church. We began it from Lagos, and today it is cut on, and virtually all the dioceses and provinces have wealth creation departments in Salem across board. The wealth creation department has 3 arms. One is the capacity development arm. The second is the investment arm. And the third is the networking arm. Under the capacity development arm, We run regularly skills acquisition training. We did one just before this conference started, and we do that at least once. One year we did thrice, because we know that to some people, they don't want to talk. They want you to teach them what to do. So we've also bridged that gap by organizing skill acquisition programs. I like to say this, that some years ago, a staff of Oceanic Bank learned how to make soap, how to make disinfectants, and that range of cosmetic products. And when she was laid off from Oceanic Bank, she told me she was not going to apply for any other job. She was going to run with the skills that she had acquired. When we had Ebola the other time, she had worked on her products. She was a sole supplier of hand sanitizers for GT Bank across the country. She had bought all the products up to going to the dispensers, up to going to Aba to buy the dispensers, to package her products. And just as we were about to import dispensers to Nigeria, Ebola ended. And, in trouble, while some people are crying, if you position yourself as an entrepreneur, you'll be making profit from trouble. Exploit is taking the skill acquisition to the next level. And then we have the business development platform, where by the third year or the second year of this program, we established Salem Cooperative. Salem Cooperative is doing very well. We have an integrated farm as we speak in Ogun State, and it's doing very well. It's doing very well. One of the speakers of today is working with the cooperative to facilitate the expansion of that integrated farm. The third arm of Wealth Creation Department is the networking arm, which is called the Salem Economic Community. What do we intend to achieve in the Salem Economic Community? It is to ensure that we have a prototype of the Chamber of Commerce that we have out there, so we know what each person within Salem is doing. And if you're not doing anything, we encourage you to do something. Salem Economic Community has enabled us to patronize our fellow members in their products and services. One thing that inspired me in birthing this Wealth Creation Department was an experience I had when I was a practicing lawyer. I had a client who came in from South Africa to do a project, a ports project in Nigeria. And one of the days, we were in the hotel, and I chatted with him, a white South African. I asked him, how are you coping now that the blacks are in office, are in power? And he said, just shrugged the shoulders and said, it doesn't make any difference. And I asked him why. He said, they are in politics, but we are in power. I said, what do you mean? He said, we still control the economy. And he said something profound. He said, if you drop $1,000 in Soweto, for instance, which is black-dominated area, he said the money would circulate 3 times and leave Soweto. But if you drop the same $1,000 or rand in Joburg, in a largely white-populated area, he said the money would circulate 33 times. He said because everything they need is available within that community. So the money circulates 33 times before it goes out. But if it goes to the black community, it circulates 3 times. The simple explanation was that the blacks were a consumption or consuming driven community. And so when I had the platform to lead Lagos, I said I was going to reverse that. We had started something at a miniature level in Bagada then. And so we have the Salem Economic Community, and if you are not on that platform, you better sign up to that platform, because we have encouraged so many Salemites and we have patronized their products and services. This year's program is building up on the 2021 edition. And I can tell you that in the last 4 editions, we have held, our focus really had been on agriculture. In 2017, we had opportunities in agribusiness and the value chain. In 2018, we dealt with identifying opportunities and positioning SMEs for growth. In 2019, the theme was maximizing opportunities by SMEs for growth. In 2021, we had new hope for economic growth through agribusiness and entrepreneurship. And every year, we have the best brains, captains of industries, disruptors in their respective sectors come speak to us. This year is not an exception. Those that are going to speak to us in the house, they are disruptors in the status quo in their respective sectors. By the time you listen to them today, you will make up your mind not to sit on your oars, but to get involved to change the narrative, not just in your family, but in your community. Praise the Lord. With smartphones, the social media world has transformed everything that we've been doing. Technology is what is driving the world today. If you are not technology inclined, the world will leave you behind. As I speak to you today, and right now, the world is watching us, and that's technology. Before, you needed to go to the bank to draw money, stand on a long queue. Today, you can sit in the comfort of your home and do transactions in millions. So much is going on in the tech industry. The artificial intelligence, technology, in the next 5 years, is going to affect the employment world fundamentally. And if we are not embracing it now, it may take us to do so much to catch up. My daughter, who just came back from Ukraine, told me, "Dad, I have some cryptocurrencies. I have some Bitcoins." I said, your father doesn't have and you have. That means that your father is old school and you are new school. So because of Mary, I want to also have cryptocurrency so she doesn't leave me behind. Ask your neighbor here, do you have cryptocurrency? Okay, if you have, let me see your hand up. If you have, increase. Nigeria has, in fact, some of the highest number of fintech startups in Africa, according to Fintech NGR, Nigeria's Fintech Association. The association also states that Nigeria's fintech ecosystem is stronger and is an improved brand appealing to global investors, positioning the country for growth. Today, we are not only going to understand and know the opportunities that avail us in this sector, but we'll also learn about a couple of other things that are trending in the tech industry. As we have done in the past, we have great experts here. The keynote speaker for today, who will be joining us from Dubai, is Mr. Leo Stan Etteh, the chairman of Zynox and Conga.com. Interestingly, it is technology that will cause him to join from Dubai. Without technology, he would have sent a letter of apology. In the house already is Mr. Olu Akamu, president and co-CEO of OPE. I was wondering who were behind OPE because they came and they were everywhere. They were just everywhere. Your advert was way out of this world. And we want to thank God that, that you are here to speak to us. Dr. Ibilola Amao is also in the house. I just had a chat with her, and you'll be glad to listen to her. She wants to bring the church and the youths to enjoy science, technology, and entrepreneurship. Please get ready because these people have been carefully selected to be a blessing to us. Dr. Badare Adewale is the co-founder, Digital Encode, and a tech expert. I want to welcome all of you on behalf of our Father and the leadership of Salem Worldwide. We want to sincerely thank you for coming. We are very hopeful that this is yet another step for the church to help develop and organize entrepreneurship programs. Oh, I just got an information that the guest speaker, Chief Stan Leo, is already in this program online. So we welcome you, our guest speaker, Chief Leo Stan Etteh. Like I told you when I spoke with you on phone, that the first time I heard you speak, when Chief Don Etteh turned, I think 70 then, or 75, I made up my mind that one day I would bring you to speak to us, because you disrupted the IT world in Nigeria and you became a trailblazer in whatever is happening today in the IT industry in Nigeria. I'd like us to please put our hands together as we celebrate Chief Stan Etteh. For all of you that have come to be part of this event, you are going to be treated to the best of information that will turn around the way you do business. Please Get your notes, get your pen, and make copious notes. We like to see that after this event, you will be able to tell us what you have done with what you have heard. We are not just here for talk. We want to see action. And I want to make a commitment that as a church, we will continue to create the platform for us to engage and to assist those who want to do business. It is money that will help the gospel spread abroad. And if all you're doing is praying and not working, then you are not helping the gospel to grow. I believe that this day will mark a turning point in your life. Sit back and enjoy the food that will be served you today. And on that note, I would like to bring on board the keynote speaker for today's event. He is going to speak to us on opportunities in the tech ecosystem. Why don't you join me to welcome Chief Leo Stan Etteh. Come on, let's celebrate him. Let's celebrate him. Let's celebrate him. He's on. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
I thought you would have done an integrity test on your system. And indirectly empowering them. The greatest empowerment you know in 21st century, it's knowledge. No more cash, because cash is a visitor. But knowledge is domiciled in you, and you can take as much as you want in 21st century and become a work creator. And I think that's the essence of this conference you are having today. I'm sorry I'm not physically there. I hate to make commitments without being there, but I had an engagement that I couldn't compromise, and I pleaded with the leadership. Mostly Suzanne, who's been on my neck, very good marketer. So today, we are looking at the new economy, basically. When you talk about tech ecosystem, you are talking about the new economy. So what am I supposed to speak on? On the opportunities in the tech ecosystem. I would say opportunities in the tech-driven economy, because we come from the third world. And I expect if you had an agenda of today's conference, a lot of you would have explored, because a lot of us are not lecturers, we're not professors, we're entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs have what others have, but few extras. Additional common sense and the ability to take pains before pleasure. And that's what differentiates entrepreneurs with other people. Okay? So looking at the tech ecosystem, I'm sure you would have explored, and this is what I advise you. Things have changed. The power of internet is sitting on you. Before you attend a conference, try and get the topics and research on them so that you can flow. that makes you a smart student, okay, a smart learner, because we're in a smart economy. So I expect you people know what is a tech ecosystem. It's basically an interconnected and interdependent network of diverse entities coming together to support innovation in the tech environment, pertaining to products and services in a sustainable manner. So it's one thing to come together. If useless people come together, they produce nothing, okay? But why are you coming together? You're coming together to support innovation, possible disruptions. And would you disrupt on the air? The answer is no. Okay, it has to do with product and services. And this is what the disruption is all about. Okay, and then when you disrupt, if you can't sustain it, you failed. This is as connected with an ecosystem, be it technology, be it in any other thing. But like you know today, every economy in the world is driven by technology. Every sustained economy, whether you like it or not, you are in the Gary business, you're in granite business, you're a mechanic. If you are not tech driven, you will not be competitive. Now, if I give you a good example of the analog side of a tech economy, but they have also advanced. And I want to localize this, I want to domesticate it so that it makes sense to some of you. Because when you read some of this, it looks alien to Nigerians. But we really have some configurations that could achieve the same. It's just that a lot of us have not woken up to reality, but we want to be successful. Now, if I use an industrial cluster, this is part of what Nigerian manufacturers are suffering. Every person is a silo and on his own. So if I use a brewery, for example, if you have an industrial cluster where you have breweries, you are going to have a malt plant, because this has to do with the supply chain, the product. Then you have a bottling company next to it. You have warehousing facility. So when they produce, they stay on filling the bottles, corking it, but you have people producing the bottles, giving to them. So this is not their business to spend money, investment in bottling. Then the next one, it's you have warehousing facility. They don't need to own a warehouse where finished products should be packed, because before they produce, they have underwriters who are their distributors. So the distributors should pick the drinks and pack them in their warehouses, okay? Warehousing facility. And then you have the transportation logistic companies who move it to different locations. And then marketing companies who promote them. Now, if they are sitting very close to one place, today you have diesel costs, you have traffic, you have human capital management, you have competencies. It's difficult to be successful because all these costs will be captured. And remember, in this cluster, you can do one massive canteen. The cost of food will be cheaper. And then what is interesting is that knowledge passes from one company to the other because they are together. Most times they enter the same buses, they can share. Some people can move. So the total knowledge of that cluster is growing. This is particularly the challenge in Africa. And this is why manufacturers are not making money. Okay, so for you to carry bottles to the brewery is a transportation cost. For them to lift it to the different center, transportation cost. For them to carry cartons to pack it to pack the bottles, another transportation cost, maybe it's coming from Ibadan to Lagos, and then it's going to finish product will go back to Ibadan. Doesn't make any sense. So I'm just using this, okay, to give you a conviction of what you call an ecosystem, okay? Now, In the tech ecosystem, certain things must happen. You must have developers, okay, coders. Today, any person can be a coder. If you take a Conga, for example, with over 250 coders, maybe about 10% read computer science. And I and Microsoft, we've done a training in Lagos where we took people who never read computer science. Now, most of those graduates who did religious studies, agri-science, and blah, 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 today, they are all fully, frankly, before they finished, they were fully engaged. And today, if they were working with those qualifications, most of them will be struggling with about 150,000, 200,000. But I can assure you, in less than 3 months, most of them are 450,000. Less than 3 years, or 500, some of them would have escaped. Even the ones I employed moved. They were offered double their salaries. And if I tell you the power of coders, even Conga, the ones they brought in 2 years after, they paid them salaries, they accommodated them. 2 years after, those who graduated in February, they doubled their salary. So these are young people who would have been roaming the street today looking for jobs. Most of them moved from 180 to 360. Okay, they are Nigerians from poor homes or from medium-sized homes, but they are successfully employed. Now, so you can't just have an ecosystem without the feeders, because ecosystem must prosper. Now, outside the strong developer community, you must have quality educational system, which is the biggest problem in Nigeria. We have graduates, but they can't defend the degrees. Okay? So we must have quality educational system. Where it does not exist, churches like Salem can set up a room as a finishing school. And a lot of these graduates will be retrained maximum 6 months, and they become successful. And when they become successful, they are able to pay more tithe and help the churches on projects. This is how every community develops. And the starting point is what they are doing today. Okay, so if you cannot control the educational system, set up a postgraduate. Certificate is not important today. What is important is the skill to do the job. I'm sure you guys are reading it all over the world. People who can do the job. Not that I have a PhD means nothing to anybody. It's important to earn it. It's a proof that you're educated, but you need to do the job. Now, outside quality educational system, you must have accelerators and tech hubs. Now, these are people who incubate companies. Like 80%, 85% of startups die. There's nothing you can do. It's a wish, a dream. I saw a vision. The vision must come to reality. Okay, so some people see false vision. Some people dream a false dream. Okay, then they try to put a perspective of religion. So about 85% fail. And the essence is knowledge. Are you ready to take pains? Are you principled? Okay, do you have the qualities to deliver? So accelerators, they raise some funds for you, tech hubs, they incubate you. Then you must also have tech-focused startups, because these are people who have needs. But the exciting thing today in the tech ecosystem is that every company has a need. Every company. So all companies have needs. Whether you're doing a school, you're running a school, whether you're doing catering, whether you're an Okada, whether you are selling beans, groundnut, cars, every successful business or expected to be successful must be tech-driven from day one. So it's a huge platform. Now, having said this, I use myself as a testimony in this. I don't know who I would have been. Maybe I would have been on the street if I didn't go into tech. And why did I enter tech? This is over 40 years ago. I went to do a postgraduate in technology. I entered there because after doing economics degree, I said, I want to do a business where there are no arguments. I'm sure you guys know I'm an Igbo man. And the Igbos like to argue. So I wanted to go into a business where there are no arguments, so I went to do a postgraduate. But then they told me, Africa, after I've registered and spent 2 months, they said, Stan, you need to stay in the UK and work, or Ireland. And that Africa will not see computers in the next 3 years because they don't consider it a priority. And really I agree with them because I've been in the front. So as majorly a lone ranger, okay? And with other friends, we're fighting. But like you know, you must anticipate tomorrow, okay? The essence of working hard is to create wealth. Not really what you would enjoy, because entrepreneurs don't enjoy more than 2% of their wealth, okay? But to civilize a system, a progressive system. Now, I left school, and after 2 years, I went back to tech. So I have a history as a pioneer in many things. And I was very clear what I wanted to do. I wanted to do disruption. Now, if you don't have all the money, you don't have all the people, where can you do disruption? It's only in technology. And you have to push it to make it happen. Like you know, and this has no control. No president has a control. The 5 richest companies in the world are tech or tech-driven. So you have Apple, you have Microsoft, you have Saudi Aramco, you have Alphabet, Amazon. So where do you want to belong? So today, if you say you're a rich man, if I look at you, I ask you, what do you do? If you tell me, I have an idea who you should be. When you start running a tech economy, tech-driven economy, people get busy. So today, you are in a bus. You see people crunching their phones, reading on social media, or sending texts, WhatsApp. So a new economy, a tech-driven economy, okay, creates partial deaf and dumb. So, because a lot of people are talking, but a lot of people, many more people are busy, okay? So if you're a tech-driven person, you don't have all the time, and that's why I'm doing this with you people. I just left the meeting, rushed out to one of the small offices, okay? And that's where I'm hosting this. So when if you're in a tech-driven economy, you have people with common sense, knowledgeable, people with self-respect, people of integrity, because they see wealth as a right. Like I said before, okay? Money shouts, wealth whispers. If rich people don't make noise. And I'm sure you've never seen a very rich American making noise, or a tech-driven guy who's successful. If he doesn't have today, he believes we have tomorrow, and definitely we'll have tomorrow. Because if the world is sitting on you, okay, expecting from you, they rely on you, whether you're in FMCG or whatever, okay? I mean, you have huge confidence, okay, that you are successful, or you're going to be successful. And that was why I said about 1996, I told the nation that no economy, no country can claim to be independent without reasonable level of technology independence. And today, that's the pride of America. That's the pride of Europe, to a large extent. Even Russia. But can you now consider China and India? Okay? And Indians 30 years ago, we are not giving visa to any country. It was seen as a border. But all the leading companies in the world, and 3 months ago, an Indian was made the CEO of Barclays Bank, British traditional bank. Because knowledge has no boundary. When they say global community, global village, the world, people thought it was cars, ships, aeroplane. No, it's domiciled in technology. Look at what happened during the COVID time. Okay, without technology, the world would be blind. A lot of us would have been dead. But people were reading the true good stories because we have website for credible information. People were coding. Today, people are in Nigeria working for American companies, working for British companies. Companies like us have lost a huge number of staff. We're still losing. Today, Britain is looking for people who come and work there. So if you're a driver in Britain, remember, okay, you are not just a driver because you have competence. You can drive, you've been driving for 20 years. It's a tech-driven business today because you need to know where you're going to, otherwise you cause more accident. And how do you do it? You use the gadgets. Okay, so you save the people time, and critical information will be passed on to you. And when you have challenges on the road, okay, you give feedback. This is a tech economy. And how can you make more money? Okay, now, if you climb onto what are those critical things on tech, a lot of people talk about blockchain, robotics, and advanced manufacturing. And artificial intelligence, which is already there and happening in Nigeria, you people might not know, but most companies are on it. If you don't have basically everything we are driving, even by artificial intelligence. As you talk about big data, you talk about machine learning, agri-tech, okay? You talk about cloud computing, okay? And you talk about digital security and cyber security, which every company, you must do everything to secure. Otherwise, the banks would have a run in 24 hours. Then you have augmented reality and virtual reality, new food and all the rest of it. But these are sophisticated words that a lot of Nigerians don't understand, that scare them. But a lot of them are already being used in Nigeria. 2 years ago, I bought a company, and in Lagos, I spent so much money on artificial intelligence and robotics. All the equipment to install, they are sitting in Lekki right now. We brought in the 19 containers before COVID started. So we couldn't deploy an independent power system, and then the engineers coming out of China and Singapore. Okay? So today you would have had a warehouse that is 100% driven by artificial intelligence and robotics. And like you know, robotics don't go to church, they don't go to village meeting, they don't eat, and the lesson, they take 100% instruction. So for e-commerce like Konga, that is investing in this, I'm sure you can see the Konga place. That's why the warehouse was bought. 24 hours they'll be working. There's no human being that can work 24 hours without mistakes. But the robotics listen to instruction, they take instruction from one source. And while they're sleeping, they are working. While they're in the church, they are working. So goods that are supposed to go to Port Harcourt are identified, no mistakes. But right now you have human beings, they're on their phone, goods that are supposed to go to Port Harcourt, they send it to Kano. The Port Harcourt man is waiting for it, and then you're tracing it and you locate it in Kano, so you can imagine how many times, how many days it will take to come back, if not actually damaged or stolen on the way. Okay? So these are huge possibilities, okay, in the marketplace for Nigerians. These are domiciled already in the country. But let me go to what keeps you busy today in an ecosystem, a tech ecosystem, because you must start somewhere before you start growing. I see a lot of hypes among startups. I said it severally. Only about 2.5% of Nigerian startups will survive at the moment because of the hype around it. Now, if you're a true Christian, you have fear of God. You are reasonably principled. If you're a true Christian, if you have 10 Christians, maybe 3 businesses will fail. True Christians. Maybe for lack of energy. But with the young people today who are forsaking God for whatever reason, they spend before they get. So it's like having pleasure before you not take pain. That's irresponsibility. Now, let me tell you people what is happening, where you can situate yourself today and make a lot of money. Everyone in this hall, like I always say, God did not create a man in 21st century to be poor. There's no man God created. It has nothing to do with your family. That's why I say today, if I didn't enter the tech system, you wouldn't know me. And I'm sure you don't know my parents, you don't know my brothers and sisters. But as a Nigerian, sitting in Nigeria, forget my other businesses across the world, I started from Nigeria. I built a company that as a Nigerian, we're number 1, and the number 1 with the distance. And what I did is a tech ecosystem, but an individual, because I have no support from external party, including the government. The government can consume, and you don't blame them. In the last 22 years, the government was not sensitive to technology. They are sensitive to agriculture. And what I always told them, how many of these decision makers will want their children to be farmers? Their kids are tech-driven. Now, so I have driven this. So Dawn first, to sensitize the press. How did we get there? So I launched desktop publishing. I computerized all media houses, Punch, Tribune, Sketch, all of them nationwide. Henneman, Longman, Evans, University Press, Africana, FFP. Because you must plan your roadmap. Don't go and start lay your hands. Sometimes the ideas, like I mentioned, there was blockchain, robotics, okay? You don't have a cover. So how do you move forward? But this is the only business you don't need a lot of money to become a multi-billionaire. Like I said, if you say you're a rich man today, I'll ask you which sector. I know how far you can go, except you're not doing that business. But if you're a tech, any level of tech, be it digital marketing, even social media, you make a lot of money. And even the taxman wouldn't know. A lot of bloggers you see are multi-billionaires. A good example is Linda Ikeji. She's not into blockchain. Okay? A lot of you don't know how much Google pays her because she has a platform that advertisers come onto. Okay? So this is how. So you sit in your home and money is coming to you as a social media influencer. So a lot of popular people, including comedians, they got into it. For Conga to call them to say something about Conga, you pay 1.5 million. How many of us in that hall earn 1.5 million? And it doesn't take 10 minutes of their time in a month. And they have many people chasing them, begging them to do the same. And a lot of people think they are unemployed, but they are making huge money. Some of them are getting it over 20 million a month. And they don't even travel to anywhere. They don't wake up to go to work, and they have their time. So this is what I call new opportunities. But you could be there without understanding it. Now, let me look at possibilities. Because I don't have a lot of time, so I'm trying to domesticate it to see how you can benefit from it. So I'll talk about coding, which is today open to everybody. Microsoft just launched a big office in Nigeria. I was there 1 week ago. Okay, so a lot of you can have access to be retrained. Okay, Google is doing the same. There is money to do business in Nigeria and in the world. People, entrepreneurs, okay, people who catch are looking for people who are serious, but you must have skill. They want to know how you started because they don't want to lose their money. Like I said, 85% fail, 85% of startups fail. So if you have the skill, they know against all odds, they will not lose their money. Okay, so online learning is another key. You can bring people on Twitter and other social media platforms and talk to them. What of digital logistics? So today, if you own a bonded warehouse, it's tech-driven, no arguments, because every item there is coded. In Conga, if you steal, we know you stole it. So you don't argue. So around you, but you need to have the consciousness. The lifestyle today is not the best shoe, the best suit, and the best car. The lifestyle today is knowledge. Now, if you're a small trader, even while you're working, you can be in a Conga marketplace. If you're an SME, today you are producing in Lagos. With a company like Conga, you will sell your goods in Maiduguri. No stories. You won't look for your money. They have the logistics, they have the warehousing, they have the fintech company, Conga Pay. So no losses, no stories, and they're fully insured. So tell me why you should feel handicapped in anything, today in Nigeria. Forget the government. The government has no choice, but the government must optimize the system. It's like telling your child not to go to school until NEPA start working. When NEPA start working, it's too old to go back to school. So take the pain, but know that you are deficient. If you know you are deficient, upgrade. The platforms today are open. So I would have loved to talk to you people face to face, like I said, but unfortunately, I try to keep to time. Unfortunately, I'm out of the country, but I just thought I'd do a little bit of inspirational talk. If I can build, a lot of you will do better. Yes, smarter. And I want to close by saying, don't be discouraged with the big names you hear, because this is the biggest problem in Nigeria. Rich people don't make noise. Tech-driven people don't make noise. Focus. Anticipate the future, that you must be successful. The world today is in favor of people from poor families and women. The rich people are facing deficiency because they don't have the hunger they think they have. But what if you watch the richest man around you when you are growing up? Today is the poorest family. The richest family is turned to be the poorest, because a lot of you here, if you listen and you can do a little bit of research and participate, you'll be rich at what we built in 30 years. A lot of you will build in 2 years. So what is the headache, Nigeria? Why can't you make it? Well, you need to tell yourself the truth. A lot of you are living false lifestyle. You come to church, but you don't believe in God. Because if you believe in God, He makes a difference in your life. You have the ideas, you have the plan, but that's the man who puts you in the right place at the right time. And coming from where we are, exactly the same with this for INEC. Without us today, Nigeria would have been in trouble. But God used Zionists to capture the data. We would have compromised. A lot of money were offered to us, but we said no. Because if God has given you an opportunity to deliver, don't abuse it. You might never have another one. So I appreciate you for this time. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Suzanne, and your crew. I can take questions right now. Okay, so I've seen the first question. What investment decision did you make that you are most proud of? Hello. Hello. I'll tell you, the first investment I made that I was excited was changing the media and multimedia sector. If you don't change the knowledge base of a country, the share will be too small that even if they give you all, it doesn't make sense. So it's like my ambition was to take a small percentage of a bigger cake than take 100% of smallest. Okay? And that was why I focus on the knowledge sector. So when you change the newspapers, a lot of you don't know how to transition. But I and my people, or my people and I, transitioned them. This day, all of them, Vanguard. Okay? So we're all happy today. I've also made an investment which is a disaster on artificial intelligence and robotics, and I lost $28 million a few years ago. And I'm still fighting. As you could know, I pioneered e-commerce in Africa. Okay? I failed because it was too early. There were no credit cards, no debit cards. But we're back to it again. It's huge cost, but somebody has to do it. And Conga is doing it. And Conga has deployed infrastructure that is very difficult for any person to deploy. So it's going to be successful. I don't know if that answers you. Which is the second one? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so which is the second question? I hope I answered the first one. One of the dream is not complete yet. Okay. So if there are no more questions, the bishop question is not very clear, but I appreciate his his thank you coming from a bishop. How can you partner with us to achieve this? Now, okay, let's take this as a final question. We are partnering with a lot of organizations. Today, I'm overcrowded, but I would speak with you people off record. I've done a lot when I started. So I built digital hubs across some institutions covering the 6 regions in Nigeria. I train a lot of people on scholarship. I have what you call Synox Institute of Technology, where I certify people. And we look for serious-minded persons. So if you have that platform, we can engage. And my guy in charge of that department, under your Stance Foundation, we don't make noise about it. In the next 3-4 months, we are full because we are doing a massive investment in Imo State. I'm sure, you know, I come from Imo State, and a lot of people can't go into Imo State. And what is causing it? Lack of jobs, no industries, underemployment, and there are a lot of educational system producing people who are not too qualified to get jobs. There are jobs in the country. So I decided to do what you call a finishing school, a massive finishing school. So next week, I'm bringing about 8 VCs into Lagos, and I would sit with them for 3 days. Impact on them to have the faith, so that they can now spread it among their lecturers and knowledge workers. So Susan, I'll be back in the country early next week. So you can connect with me and I'll introduce that proper. Definitely, if you have people, you know, I talked about the high tech, you know, people who are doing POS system today. The biggest problem in Nigeria today is fraud. So some of the people you have here that are unemployed, we can give POS to earn money, and then they become collection centers for Conga. So people who order around their place can come and collect from them. But they need to be reliable and fully documented. There are huge opportunities. Conga is trying to release, for example, about 500 motorbikes into the system. You need people who can control this, who can employ and control these people. But it has to be tech-driven. So I plead with everybody to see it as a lifestyle, okay, and grow in knowledge. You will never be poor. You continue to make money. You continue to make money till you die, more than you can consume. So you can extend to the church, to other people. A lot of us are doing it, and quietly too. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate everyone, but I have to leave for another meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Etteh, chairman of Int'l Technologies. He actually warned me. He said I shouldn't call him chief, and there is no chief in technology. I want to thank him once again, and we'll definitely get in touch with him by the time he gets back into the country next week. Thank you very much, Bishop, for your opening remarks, which reminded us of all the exploits we've held in the past 4 years. We hope that this very particular exploit is another stepping stone. Wonderful things are going to happen, almost all of us in Lagos. He has told us that we should see tech as a lifestyle. Definitely have to cue into that. Thank you. That was very insightful. Please, another round of applause for him. Before we call on our next speaker, we're going to do some recognition. We'll recognize our lady of the house, Mama K, we call her. She is Reverend Mrs. Catherine Enobong Etteh. Thank you. I don't know some faces, but I'll try. We welcome Bishop Israel Eze. Thank you, and his wonderful wife. I think I'm short, and I'm not fat. Next to him, I don't know, we have Bishop Joseph Bassi here. Bishop Emai Song here. Bishop, I know that one. Bishop John Ibeno is not here. David Onimes is not here. And Bishop Goody Ogwama, that's him. Reverend Aldo, thank you for coming. Are you ready? Getting ready? Okay, we'll have our next speaker, but before she comes on, I'll call on my co-anchor, Mrs. Victoria Ikenna wants to introduce her. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be here this morning. Okay, at the last International Women's Day, we saw so many women doing something like this. No bias. No bias. And I'm happy to introduce one of the female tech giants in the country today. We've had men occupy this space for a long time. But this morning, I have the privilege to introduce to you Dr. Ibilola Amao. But before she comes on board, I'd like to read briefly about her profile. And it reads, Dr. Ibilola Amao is a principal consultant at Lanodec Global Services, a multi-award-winning women-owned company that builds capacity, compatibility, and competence of STEM talent to deliver value in energy, power, infrastructure, manufacturing, oil and gas sector. Since inception, over 5,000 engineers have been trained alongside corporate social responsibility projects that has counseled and empowered over 100,000 STEM talents. Are you excited to meet the speaker this morning? I am delighted to introduce Dr. Ibilola Amao to come on board. You're welcome, ma.
morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing on existing protocol. I want to say a big thank you to the gentleman who invited me here. And I would also like to say a big thank you to the church and the leadership team and the planners and executors of this exploit program. Thank you so much for the honor. I hope my presentation would be shared on the screen. I sent a PowerPoint presentation online. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. So I've been asked to talk about opportunities in the STEM and tech ecosystem. And I thought I should share some experience with young professionals, youths, and even people who at the moment are very undecided about their future. Today I bring hope to us in this room, and I pray that if you pay attention to this presentation, you'll be walking out of this place at least $1 million richer. So, please, if you don't believe that, I think you really, really are not here to pay attention to this presentation. I want to thank the earlier speaker, Mr. Leo Stan Ake, who has done awesome things in the tech industry, especially in Nigeria. He's shared with us the fact that knowledge, we are in a knowledge economy, and ideas is what makes a difference. For every child of God, you are uniquely and wonderfully created. Even before you were formed in your mother's womb, God knew there was going to be a problem in Nigeria, in Africa, or in the world that you are wired and your DNA is structured to solve. And for every solver of a problem, issue, challenge, you are a wealth creator. So I'm going to try to explain that beyond education, enlightenment, empowerment, there's engagement and entrepreneurship. A lot of us stop at education. We don't go into enlightenment. We don't go into empowerment, which is learning skills on a daily basis. It takes a humble spirit and a humble heart to learn on a daily basis. You can learn from your driver, you can learn from your cook steward, you can learn from anybody. If you acknowledge that God has divinely wired every single human being with potential, talent, and passion, you humble yourself to learn something from everybody you encounter. And it is in that learning and continuous development that you become empowered and become engaged and become a problem solver, a value creator, and an entrepreneur. So I'm hoping that you'll catch a vision today, become entrepreneurs, and go out there and make your millions of dollars through technology. So I'm not going to bore you with my content page. I'm going to interest you with some Nigerian global tech brands and unicorns. On the left is Flutter Wave. I'm sure you all heard about Flutter Wave that achieved $3 billion valuation as an African tech company this year. Founded in 2016 by Inyoluwa Aboyeji, Olugbenga Agbola, and Adeleke Adekoya, it's headquartered in San Francisco, California, with operations in Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, and 7 other African countries. In 2021, they raised $170 million Series C funding, and they are today controlling $3 billion in valuation, Nigerian company by Nigerians. So I believe that 2 or 3 of you in this room can come together and do better. Next is Funke Okweke, my senior in Queen's School, Ibadan. Main One, she set up Main One in 2008, worked extremely hard to do great things and bring a Main One undersea cable from Portugal to Nigeria. It took her from MTN engaging with the American embassy, working with the African Development Bank, going for meetings, strategic meetings. She wasn't busy buying shoes and bags and living the life. She paid it forward, and she was able to set up Main One. And Equinox bought Main One this year for $320 million. So So I am hoping you are beginning to understand that $1 million is no big deal in this room. The next company is Andela, the first investment company to be sponsored by Chan Zuckerberg and set up by 4 people, a Nigerian being the leader. They actually raised 24 million Series B round last year. So that's another brand. And the next one is Space Stack, set up by 2 Nigerians again, Shola Akinlade and Ezra Olubi. They actually went to St. Gregory's College and Babcock University. Stripe acquired Paystack for $200 million in 2020. So please, what are we waiting for? I hope you are catching the vision now that you should be creating the ideas in your head around an ecosystem and be millions of dollars richer with ideas which you would come up with the strategies for and you would go out of here and execute. One thing for sure is you can't do it alone. You need to partner, collaborate, set up strategic alliances, consortia efforts, and joint ventures to execute a strategy. So you need to begin to look for people in your ecosystem, people in your family, your friends, your old schoolmates, people you have come across that are like-minded, that can share a vision with you and can come up with a strategy with you and you can execute and implement. So I have some more good news for you. How many of you have heard about the Sustainable Development Goals? If you've heard about the Sustainable Development Goals, there are 17 of them. It started in 2015. So I really wonder why we have not been using Google properly. Please, can we get more serious on using Google alerts more seriously so that on a daily basis we are informed? These are things that we really need to know. $3.3 to $4.5 trillion will be expended to fund the attainment of Sustainable Development Goals. I didn't say millions or billions. I said trillions of dollars. So please, what are we waiting for? I hope you can go now online and check out the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, 16 of them really, because the 17th one is about partnering. And that's what I said. You can't achieve much without partnerships, joint ventures, strategic alliances, and consortia efforts. Teamwork is together, each achieves more. Like Mr. Leo Stan Eke said, he said he would rather be a shareholder in a big pie than being 100% stakeholder in a small pie. So when it comes to SDGs 1 to 16, no poverty, no hunger, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Technology is an enabler for all of these sustainable development goals. So whether you want to start from being a coder, or you want to be a blogger, you want to be an influencer, you want to be an enabler, you want to design a platform, you want to bring an ecosystem together, there is $3.3 to $4.5 trillion waiting here for you. So I hope you will get busy online to find out where you and your friends and your family fit into this picture. So solving society, economic, and environment problems. Right now, before any billion-dollar, million-dollar oil and gas, energy, infrastructure, power project is funded, there must be ESG compliance. ESG compliance is environment, social, and governance. The funding coming from the global financiers like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Citi, the funding in those areas are focused on green energy, sustainable and renewable energy, and there requires environment, social, and governance compliance. So if you can solve any of these problems, which are around the Sustainable Development Goals, there are trillions of dollars there, and technology being an enabler can empower you to the tunes of millions of dollars. So please go searching. Now, I'm looking at science, technology, engineering, and maths. A lot of people talk about tech, but I like to talk about STEM. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and maths, because technology is just a little part of STEM, and technology is an enabler of the entire value chain. So take, for instance, in Nigeria, for example, or in Africa, we're blessed with organic foods. We're blessed with agricultural produce. My late grandmother was able to use leaves and herbs and barks of trees for health. And basically, I mean, some people call it agbo or whatever they call it, you know. So you boil this, even if you boil just lettuce leaves, for example, creates a very therapeutic experience. So we have all these natural remedies that we have not studied hard enough to be able to derive value. Processing of herbs, extraction of value from minerals, trees, cash crops, renewable energy, materials, metallurgy, health, and pharmaceuticals is under science. There are billions of dollars there, even in this Nigeria. You just need to use technology to discover the full value chain and exploit it. Technology excellence is around digitization, blockchain, artificial intelligence, digital analysis, cloud computing, robotics, 5G integration of systems, fintech, agri-tech, digital twins, and so much more. So there's a whole bunch there. We just need to take the pains to educate ourselves, enlighten ourselves, empower ourselves, engage ourselves, and convert issues, problems, and challenges into products, services, solutions, projects, initiatives, and we are making the money. Engineering excellence goes around mechatronics, control systems, instrumentation, pipelines, wind farms, biomass, construction, power stations, refineries, rail, aircraft, equipment. I mean, a lot of us have suffered in the past few weeks. No power supply and high cost of diesel, if you can even find it. That's a huge problem. Therein lies huge opportunities. We need to come together and look at how we can use renewable energy, biomass, for waste to wealth. We have not even begun to scratch the surface of waste to wealth. We see plastics littering all over the streets in Nigeria. We haven't even thought about the combustion of those plastics to generate power. And these are components we can use. Even the waste from our kitchen could actually be used to drive our gas. People are complaining that 12.5 kg is now 8,500 naira. If you have a combustion system, you can actually convert your waste from the kitchen into gas to cook your food. So there's so much we can do around that. And mathematics is about defying gravity, space travel, geology, 4D, 3D, seismic, data interpretation, and a whole bunch of stuff. The good news is for every single one of the 774 local governments we have in Nigeria, God has divinely placed mineral and natural resources in each of those local governments. So have we questioned the resources that God has blessed us with in each of these local governments, and have we begun to strategize on how to convert them into wealth? So what is innovation? Innovation is something that every Christian should be working with. Innovation is basically, for me, in spiritual terms, the result of intercession. Deep intercession, praise, worship, and intercession. If you are into praise, worship, and intercession, you will innovate for free. So I think those of you who are waiting for the ideas to flow, you need to invest more time, invest more time with God, quality time with God. So innovation is about exploiting the existing, seen or unseen, to create what has been imagined, creating value through critical, logical, out-of-the-box thinking, and this requires imaginative reasoning. And in Christian terms, praise, worship, and intercession results in imaginative reasoning. And one thing is, with innovation, you are able to convert issues, challenges, and problems into knowledge. And as you speak, words are spirit and life. You are able to convert whatever is in the environment you find yourself. you change the atmosphere. For every place you step into, you should be able to convert problems, issues, and challenges by the spoken word and the imaginative, creative, innovative spirit God has blessed you with into solutions, products, and services. So there are a whole bunch of things around innovation and spiritual inspiration, illumination, and revelation knowledge. So the new learning ecosystem for leadership in challenging times is basically about continuous engagement, thinking global, but acting local. You really need to understand what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. How is converting the petrodollar into rubles and gold going to affect us in Nigeria? How is it going to affect oil distribution, products distribution? Where should I position myself strategically to ride the crest of the wave of the next problem that is coming from the various happenings nationally, regionally, and globally? So that's the kind of thinking we really need to be having. And that's the kind of deep intercession we should be engaged in, because we want to be salt in the tastelessness of this world and light in the darkness of our society and community. People should come to us to solve problems because we have invested time with God. So apart from spending time researching where the problems are, you need to use Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp wisely. Not using it to forward videos and silly negative information that is taking you nowhere, but you need to be strategic. I'm on a platform, International Women's Entrepreneurial Exchange platform, with women from all over the world, and one of the ladies there makes about $500,000 a month from WhatsApp. So if all of us are holding these same smartphones and pressing our keyboards or our buttons on WhatsApp, some people are making $500,000 minimum on WhatsApp from setting up the right groups and pushing the right narrative. So if you're not making good money from your smartphones on WhatsApp platforms, please think again. So you have friends, family, colleagues, acquaintances, teams, and partners. You can network with them through Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp, and create value for them and be compensated financially for the value you create. So leaders in a tech ecosystem must be good at goal setting. I mean, you heard that only about 3/10 of the new startups make it in the tech space. They don't make it for these reasons. They're very poor at goal setting, planning, and execution. Their communication and engagement skills are poor. Resource optimization and delegation skills they lack. They have not gone through good capacity building systems. They are lacking in integrity. And that's why I think children of God should not be in any poor state. If you are a child of God and you have integrity, money will chase you. Because even criminals would rather work with an honest person when they have a good deal. So they will look for you and they will chase you with their money. You will have to tell them that you don't do this type of business. They should take their money elsewhere, or you will define the terms in which you will engage them. And you need to have a very good lawyer. So focus, decisiveness, and time management, these are key traits that make one business in the tech ecosystem more successful than the other. So this is a STEM tech ecosystem. I just gave you a picture of what we do in the oil and gas industry, but I can honestly tell you that in the oil and gas industry at the moment, we're moving from from fuel technology, which is the hydrocarbon energy sources, to cleaner energy. So there's an energy transition going on at the moment, as well as digital transformation. So during COVID, rather than flying expatriates up and down and flying Nigerians to offshore and onshore, we moved technology such that for every oil and gas asset, whether it's a flow station, a hydrocarbon floating production, storage, offloading unit, refinery, petrochemical plant, there's a digital twin. A digital twin is created by 3D modeling, 2D modeling, and laser scanning, conversion of raster to vector, and deploying smart technology to be able to do the engineering, procurement, construction, operations and maintenance, procurement, and supply chain. So this is an area where you could earn up to $1,000 a day. So these are the kind of areas you really need to research and chart your career path. If you have an interest in science, technology, engineering, and maths, you would probably need to go through some refresher courses, short courses, digitally upskill yourself to be able to earn about $1,000 a day. And you can be in Nigeria working in Abu Dhabi, Aberdeen, Houston, or Calgary. You don't have to leave your bedroom because people are working online real time today. So what is a startup ecosystem and a tech ecosystem? What does this look like? I've actually gone on Twitter to find 3 gentlemen who are doing fantastic things in digital and in startups. So what do you need in the ecosystem? You need talent. Talent comes from good education. You need location and events. You need mentorship, incubation, acceleration, and funding. The good news is every church has what it takes to establish a tech ecosystem. So I am hoping that this church, Salem, will set up a tech ecosystem because you have everything it takes already. It's going to come up with ideas, inventions, research, and the long and short of it is you're going to have to bring together big companies, universities, funding organizations, service providers, research organizations, and support organizations. This is what a startup looks like. I've just broken it down. So you can look at LinkedIn knowledge. You can actually connect with people on LinkedIn, and they can mentor you real-time online. You don't really need to meet them. You can go through Twitter learning, Google Alert learning, networking. I was very pleased when I was told you have a networking arm here because networking is so important for teamwork, mentoring, and coaching. So apart from Peter Fisk, we have Zach Tan in Singapore, who are leaders in building tech ecosystems. And this is a wise guy who is in Orlando, and he's put up another tech ecosystem graphics here. You can check this out. It has VC funding, science parks, local entry points, co-working spaces, crowdfunding, incubators, and accelerator programs. And then basically, I wanted to talk about what is happening in Nigeria at the moment. Microsoft recently invested $100 million in Nigeria. Google is investing $112 million in Africa. And Facebook is offering £35,000 a month to Reels Creator. I hope that interests you. But you have to read the Nigerian Startup Bill, launched on the 22nd of February 2022, and get informed on providing infrastructure as a service. That's what the Googles, the Amazon Web Services do, providing platforms as a service and software as a service. What we've been talking about in Nigeria and doing for a long time is software as a service. But the real big money is in platforms as a service and infrastructure as a service. That is really where we need to position ourselves for the future. This is what we have. Where is the money and the job opportunities? Mad Tech, which is marketing and advertising, and that's what Linda Ikeji is doing. There's M&E Tech, cybersecurity, fintech, productivity tools, mobility and e-logistics, security tech. Everybody is security conscious in Nigeria. There's big money in security tech. Legal tech, food tech, med tech, e-commerce, HR tech, marketplace sustainability, industry 4.0 and 5.0, property tech, regulatory tech, sports tech, ed tech, fashion tech. There's so many opportunities there. The most highly paid remote jobs for virtual service, working from home and working from anywhere are marketing and communications, brand and communications, front-end engineer, DevOps engineer, senior full stack, Node, Amazon Web Services software producers, UI designers, design verification experts, content marketers, UI UX designers, marketing and community leads, C++ developers, automation engineers with Python and senior Python developers. Now, this is for women who want to get involved in empowerment. Please reach out to me. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter. We do a lot of programs for girls in STEM, girls in tech, women in engineering, women in energy, women in entrepreneurship. And I have a short list of where the future would be in 2025. The skills you need to watch out for and you need to acquire as a must: analytical thinking and innovation, active learning and strategic thinking, complex problem solving, critical thinking and analysis, creativity, originality and initiative, leadership and social influence, technology use, monitor and control, technology design and programming, resilience, stress tolerance and flexibility, reasoning, problem, and ideation. All you need to make $1 million is one idea and the right people to work with you and convert it into a strategy, and then the right dynamics to execute. My prayer is that if 85 million declining roles will be lost before 2025, and 97 million emerging roles will be coming up in 2025, and there are trillions of dollars to be made in closing the Sustainable Development Goals gap before 2030, and there are millions of dollars to be made in the tech ecosystem by 2025, each and every one of us